Well, welcome, learning tubers. I'm excited to be with you all today. And what I want to share with you is sort, then scale. And it is going to be a framework that leaders can use to integrate artificial intelligence. I'll start with um, who I am and what I do. And I want to let you all know first, before I jump into that, that at the bottom of your screen, there is a taskbar for Zoom that has emojis. So feel free if I'm sharing something that you really like or that really resonates, go ahead and hit your favorite emoji and feel free to share in the chat as well. Deidrean and her team will be monitoring the chat for me so that I can stay focused on giving you guys some great content. But in the meantime, just feel free to, if you have questions as I go along the way, you can feel free to add them into the chat. There will be time at the end for some questions, but I know sometimes if you don't jot them down when they come to your mind, you may not remember them later. All right, let's jump in. So I am a change manager. I help organizations navigate disruptions, whether they are planned or unplanned. Some of the things that I help do is I am very focused on human-centered transformation because we're people first. Um, I help to optimize organizational performance, and then use strategy to integrate AI or anything else for that matter that's a challenge to you. And I love serving executives. So whether you're a business owner, you're the top leader in your company, you're a manager, I can help you streamline what you do so that you can do it much better. And my tagline is transforming your view of change. So as we go on, you will see why that's important. In keeping with us being able to navigate disruptions, so this quote by Winston Churchill, the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, while the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. So we just had technical difficulties. Everybody saw that. But we are still able to navigate and to keep going because it's like, hey, that's life. A change that happened to me. I have a laptop with an additional monitor that I put on it. Well, it went out on me this morning. So I had to go old school to make sure I have all my notes for today. So, but we learn how to roll with whatever it is that we get. So look for opportunities in difficulties. Today, I'll be covering some of the main pain points that business owners are addressing or need to address. I will talk about ways that AI can help you with those, and we'll end with a live demo. All right, so I have to talk to you guys about this tree. So I was born and raised in South Florida, and I was there when Hurricane Andrew hit in 92. That was one of the largest natural disasters that had ever been in the state that I knew about anyway. And it was larger than life. So everything was so disrupted from, I mean, in our home, we had a 6 bedroom home. In our home, we lost all the windows but three. Some of the roof came off. I mean, it was really, really bad. We couldn't live there. So commuting to another town and then trying to get your mail. This was before cell phones were really a thing. A few people had cell phones. We weren't one. So standing in line, trying to get mail, standing in line for payphones, trying to get in touch with insurance adjusters and everything. It was a major disruptor. And so one of the things that when something happens outside of your control, you have to decide how you want to deal with it, how you want to handle it. Because, I mean, this big tree across my path can make me say, you know what, I'm just turning around, I'm going home. forget this. I don't have time for this. And often we run into what I call change fatigue. So before we move any further, I want you to put in the chat. I'm sure all of you are using AI in some form. So if you are, say yes. If you're using it sometimes, it's a little bit iffy, go ahead and put a 3. If you're not using it at all, just say no, I'm not. But for the most part, most people have dabbled in it somehow, just a little bit. Okay, I see lots of yeses. So everybody has given it a shot. But one of the things that I am finding though is if you're not using it correctly, it's easy for you to get into that sometimes boat because the output that you're getting from your questions and your prompts is really not helping you very much. And so it's easy to say, whatever, this AI hype ain't for me. But it is. The AI hype is for you, but not from the standpoint of just jumping on a bandwagon per se, but really taking the time to pause and to understand how this major disruptor can really benefit what you do, why you do it, and who you serve. So, again, we have a unique opportunity right now in real time to turn challenges into opportunity. So, part of change fatigue, or a way to overcome change fatigue, is to manage the pace that you use when you're implementing something. That helps you to minimize burnout and sometimes even avoid burnout. So, the way again to do that is manage the pace that you're implementing something. So this is very critical, especially in the space of artificial intelligence. There is so much going on all the time. There are new tools. There are the tools that you're currently using and most familiar with are constantly adding new things. So it's like, oh my goodness, where does this stop? So again, you can manage fatigue and burnout by having a strategy, setting the pace for how you're going to do it. I'm going to show you. So some of the biggest challenges that businesses are facing today cover some of these 3 areas. These are not the only challenges that businesses are facing, but these are it definitely has common points across different industries. So under performance improvement, it's the funding and resources to train employees so that they stay up to speed on their jobs. Is that a challenge for everybody? I mean, you want to take these classes, you know you need to take classes, but if it's not free, where do you find the funding? How do you go about getting what you need to be able to pay for these courses? Is that something that resonates with anybody in the group? Let me know if it does. The next one is customer engagement. So, under customer engagement, there is that part of the need to see, and let me come back to that one. So, let's go to innovation. A lot of organizations are recognizing, you know what? I don't have what I need in place to keep my competitive advantage. And I don't even have a clear plan for how to do it. To customer engagement, that seems to be low hanging fruit. And if we're not careful when we're looking for ways to integrate artificial intelligence, that's one of the first things that we will turn over to artificial intelligence or to some form of automation. So I see quite a few people that's can readily identify with the financial piece of how do I pay for training that I need so that I can stay up to speed, whether it's you as a business owner or if you have staff, how can you find the funding for them? Uh-oh, let me go back one. Uh, okay, so the when I mentioned customer engagement being low-hanging fruit, one of the top complaints that customers have had, 52% has had a problem with the difficulty of reaching an agent. I don't know about you all, but I've experienced that as well, where you call in somewhere and they give you this long menu of what to press to get whomever. And you go through pressing buttons and saying stuff, and it still seems like you're getting the royal runaround. Has that ever happened to anybody in here? Or was it just me where I find myself looking at the phone and just saying, operator, just get me to an operator. Okay, I see Michelle and Anna Marie have both experienced that same thing. And unfortunately, there has been um, $3.7 trillion lost through organizations from bad customer experiences. So this all ties into how well you or your team is trained and equipped to serve the people that are your clients. And so when you don't have what you need, it costs you. There is a price for not having what you need. And then again, I found it this last stat, the 52%, that came from executives saying that they are unclear or their strategy is extremely broad as to how they are going to bring their organization up to speed with whatever current challenges are being faced. And so when you are going with customer engagement, since that is low hanging fruit that we can easily try to initially automate, here are a few things to keep in mind. Okay, so number one, what makes the most sense for you as a company and for the people that you serve? If you have a highly technical product or services that you offer, you may not want to have that automated. You may want to keep that as a human engagement where you can get the information that you need and not frustrate your clients. That makes sense? The next thing to keep in mind is be transparent. So if you are using bots, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're using some form of bot to help you with your customer service and your customer engagement, just make sure that your clients understand that, even if it's something as simple as clearly posting your business hours, for example, and saying, we are only able to serve you in person these days between these hours. If you reach us after that time, our bots can help you. You can even name it, can help you, and we will follow up with you within, whatever kind of time frame. So transparency is important. If someone is engaging, we have so many AI tools that can be our twins or be our avatars, but make sure, even though those are realistic, make sure people know when they are not engaging with a human so that you remain credible and trustworthy to your clients. And then the last thing is, it as time goes on, people are having to be more receptive that AI in customer service is a thing. And so they're having to adjust that love-hate relationship that they're getting when they just want to talk to a person. But then you also have clients, so it's also a good idea to know your people. Because if they'd rather get something done quickly by way of chatting with a bot instead of going through a phone call, they will love it. So once you know how to best serve who you're serving, then you can definitely serve them well. All right. So when I was younger, we did a lot of outdoor stuff in the summertime and just at any time. And I did just change my screen to someone about to jump rope. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so there was a little tune we would sing, Strawberry Shortcake, Huckleberry Finn. When I call your birthday, please jump in. And the people would go through the months of the year. And when it would get to your month, you were supposed to jump in. Uh, I thought about that when I was thinking about AI integration. It's like, okay, now's the time. Do I jump in? How much do I jump in? What do I do? And often we find ourselves getting tripped up and tangled up in just the enormity of everything. So, again, if you don't have a clear strategy, again, where you overcome change fatigue because you are managing the pace of the implementation, you can easily become burned out, discouraged, and just give up. So we got to make sure that when we jump in, we have a plan. So let's meet Sarah. I'm going to give you a little bit about her struggle. So Sarah works for a AI consultancy and she is the financial advisor and she is totally overworked. There's always reports that are due. There's everything seems to just kind of fall in her wheelhouse. And it was leading to overwhelm for her. She was feeling certain areas where surely there's a better way to do this. How can I manage everything? I don't want to take any work home with me in the evening. When I leave work, I want to leave work. And if you're an entrepreneur and you work from home, seems like if you don't have clear boundaries, you will be working all the time. So it's like, how do we balance this? Is there such a thing as balancing this? So here is my first point of the framework is understanding the cycle of your organization. To explain this a little bit further, I'll talk about one of my past jobs. So I was in higher ed and I was the director of student services. And around this time of the year would be graduation. And we had different ceremonies for the students in each of the programs. So between like late February and the end of May, were all kinds of activities related to commencement, getting them registered to be alum, making sure we had proper addresses to send their diplomas to, all of that. There's like a whole bunch of stuff from planning the speakers and the venues and the food and yeah, it was a lot. But that happened at a certain time every year. So every year between February and the end of May, there were certain things in my cycle, there were certain stages within my cycle that I had to perform. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I mean about understanding your cycle? So where are you in the business? What specific thing are you working on? And what are the stages within that cycle? Okay, good. I see people are understanding the point. So the second part of the framework is to segment your tasks. So I first heard of these three areas of segmentation and I fell in love with them from ProSci. ProSci is a change management organization. Um, so the first bucket, and I turned it into a bucket list. So we understand a bucket list to be something you want to do before you die. So you make this long list of things that you either want to accomplish or something that you want to see or something that you want to do before you kick the bucket. So I call this my bucket list. The first bucket is human. The second bucket are things that can be human and AI collaboration. And the third bucket is AI automation. And so we will break down each of these a little bit more. So, for instance, the human bucket are things that, as you understand your cycle and the stages of your cycle, what things within that cycle need to stay with a person and have a person responsible for it. You identify all of those things. Then in the next bucket, you look at things that you need someone on your team to do, and you also can use AI to help with that. Okay, so that's the second bucket. Then the third bucket are those things that really you don't have to do anything with it at all. You don't have to put your hands on it at all. You can let AI totally handle it. So you will find certain things within your cycle that will fit into each of these buckets. And the sooner you're able to identify those, like I said, it addresses that change fatigue and it gives you a practical way to manage your AI integration. All right, so we got to talk about the elephant in the room, skepticism and overwhelm. I mentioned both of those things earlier from the standpoint of we've all dabbled in AI, and some of us love it, and we're just rolling with it. We are up to our eyeballs, and we don't mind. But even in that stage, you can reach a point of overwhelm. There are literally AI tools coming out every day. And so it's very easy to jump on the next one. And if you're not careful and if you don't have a strategy, you will find yourself trying this, trying a little bit of that, using this a little while, using that a little while, and just jumping all over the place. And again, that can lead to fatigue. So, on the other hand, with skepticism, you've tried it. The most common one that we all know about is ChatGPT. And if you haven't trained your ChatGPT and you haven't set up the backside of ChatGPT, as we've learned to do, you'll get output that you'll be like, I don't understand the hype. This is like not worth it. The answer that they gave me is not anything that I could ever use. If you're using it to do emails, it doesn't sound like anything you would ever say. So you're like, I don't get it. I don't get this AI hype. So to help with the elephant in the room, again, it's important to have a strategy. With your strategy, you are able to implement everything with purpose and with pace. So, AI mindset truly does matter. So, my power trio when it comes to AI, and not just AI, because I'm a change manager first. So, my power trio, number one is mindset. That really matters. Your mindset is like your runway for transformation. It becomes the lens through which you interpret everything, whether you see it as a challenge or you see it as an opportunity. So it's mindset is key. The next thing in my power trio is curiosity. I see curiosity as the fuel for innovation. So it helps you craft amazing questions. And that's a whole different topic that I share. But it helps you craft amazing questions that can unlock hidden insights about something. The third part of my power trio is imagination. I like to say imagination is your artist. It is what paints the picture of the destination or the outcome that you wish to achieve. And because you can see it, you can visualize it, it spawns and it spurs you into action to make that a reality. So if I see AI as my aid, that it is a dynamic tool, that it is something that I can use when I am delegating certain tasks. If I can see it that way, it changes the scope. So imagine this. One thing that we have been hearing from day one is the fear that AI is going to take our jobs. So, as a change manager, and I love upsetting the norms of how people think about things. What would happen if instead of saying AI is going to take my job, as I am going through my buckets, I am saying, what jobs can I give to AI? So that I can free up my time to do something else. So again, it's all about perspective. If I feel that something is going to be taken from me, I'm going to hang on to it. If I feel that this is something that can help me, I will gladly let it go. So think about that. What can you gladly let go? What are those time churners? One of the ways that I tell is something that I avoid. I always find a clue in things that I avoid. Why? I start asking questions. And as I go through that process, I often discover there are some parts that I can certainly happily, willingly delegate to AI. What about you? Do you see the same patterns? All right, so moving on with Sarah, let's talk about some of the ways that AI transformed her company. So she started with the buckets. She started with finding a specific stage of her cycle and beginning to break each of those things down. What needed to stay with humans? What could be AI human collaborative? And what could totally be automated? So she did it with tools. Before I get into perplexity, one of the things that is really critical and I love sharing with my clients is if you're currently using some type of software, most now have a form of AI integration in it. I encourage you to explore that first because it's designed specifically for what you're doing. Often we go and find another tool. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But often we go and find another tool and we pay for other things. And again, that can lead to overwhelm. Whereas if we start with something that we already have and learn to see if it will meet the needs that we have, we are better off there. And if it doesn't, then we can find something else. So that's a good starting point. Start with what you have. If you go to the tool that I am going to share is Perplexity. And the reason that I like Perplexity for research specifically is, and it's come a long way since I first started using it. What I really love about it is it gives the sources from where it is gathering the information. So you can always dig deeper into those sources. I know with a lot of other language models, they're trying to do better by giving the sources at the time, but a lot of them you have to ask for the sources. So with Perplexity, you don't have to ask, it provides it for you. So, with perplexity, and this is the point where I am going to stop and go into a live demo of one of the things that Sarah was able to do. So, one moment, I'm going to get out of the presentation and I'm going to go into perplexity. And you can let me know in a second if you see my screen. And of course, it went away. One moment. Here we go. All right. So, are you seeing perplexity?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. So I have a prompt in perplexity that says, this is Sarah's role as a financial advisor for an AI consultancy overseeing daily operations. Generate a comprehensive list of 10 common tasks. Categorize each task into one of three categories. Number one, human exclusive. Number two, human AI collaboration. Or three, AI automation. Additionally, provide brief reasoning and an explanation for why AI is well suited to automate specific tasks. And I hit go, and let's see what it gives us. So as you can see on my screen, let me see if I might need to make it just a tad bit larger. It is it is searching now for some common tasks of a financial advisor in an AI consultancy. So I really love how it's taking what I asked and it's breaking it down. Okay, so it's starting to get some categories for me of things. And then it has some key takeaways. All right, so actually, when I did this the first time, let me go into that demo. When I did it the first time, what I liked about it was it gave me I used the deep research and I like it a lot better. And this is the paid version, but you do not have to have the paid version right away. You can definitely start with the free version and get a lot that way. So when I did it the first time using the deep research, it searched 83 sources for me. And from those, it talked about here's some human exclusive things: building client trust and relationships, complex ethical decision making, strategic business development. A few that can be collaborative, financial planning, and strategy development. And it tells you how. Client portfolio review and optimization. It tells you how. Risk assessment and mitigation, client education, and capability building. And then under the automation, um, it, data analysis and pattern recognition, routine client communications, that's a biggie, and market monitoring and trend analysis. So you can also, if you have tasks that you're currently doing, you can upload that list of tasks and you can ask AI to help you sort through ones that should be in each of those buckets and to provide an explanation as to why it says it. The reason I say ask it to provide an explanation is so you can see the reasoning behind what they're saying. And from there, that could generate additional conversation from you where you can get with the AI and say, okay, I use it for this. Why would you tell me to put it in this bucket? What are the benefits or what are the drawbacks? And you can gather additional information, again, using the list that you have. If you don't have a list, you can use AI to build that list. You don't have to build it in Perplexity like I did. You can build it in ChatGPT or some other model. But the goal is to have AI help you determine from these tasks which of them would make the most sense to be in each bucket. And then again, it will help to address that change fatigue and allow you to properly manage the implementation with strategy of how you will have AI to help you in each of those things. All right, I have a few more slides that I will get to, and then we will have time for some questions. All right. Back into the slides. And let me know if you see my presentation again.
Yes, we
Oh,
can.
started from the front. Are you kidding me? One moment. Okay, let's see. Go down here, start from current slide. There we go. Okay, I'm a quote junkie. So I get so much out of quotes. There's a lot of good things that can just resonate with you. And so this quote from Helen Keller really stands out to me. And it talks about the importance of being adaptable and going with the flow. Because if you are on a road that has curves, that has twists and turns, and you decide, I'm tired of turning, I'm tired of this, and you decide to go straight, good luck with that. You're going to need somebody to help you because you will wind up in a situation. And so, again, it is very important that you monitor your mindset, that you recognize the areas where you truly are fatigued or overwhelmed or something is coming at you too much. Take a step back so that you're able to regain your focus and stick with your plan. So, what are your next moves? Your next moves are to sort. You got three buckets now, so that's going to make it really simple. Then you can scale and then you can store. So I do have a bucket list template, and that's my freebie. Dadrian will put the link in the chat, and then I'll also have a QR code that you can that you can scan. You can also book a 30-minute strategy call with me, and I'm happy to go over some of these points with you, whether it's the sort bucket or whatever. So I'd love to have you reach out to me. I also have a wait list for a master class that I'll be doing next month. It's called AI Implementation Strategy for Leaders. In this course, I will show you how to ask good questions as a leader when working with your AI so that you can get executive type responses out of it. Ultimately, just take action. So here are the QR codes, and I welcome you to follow me on LinkedIn. I try to put relevant things out there, good things that you can use that you can implement right away as you're on this AI journey. And so if you have questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat. I hope you found this very, very helpful. And or you can raise your hand and Dadrian will take you off of, let me make sure you guys have my information. Um, Dadrian can take you off of mute. Thank you so much, Michelle. She can take you off of mute and you will be able to ask your questions in real time. And go ahead and take a picture of this. This is my number. You can text it or you can call it, as well as my email. And I really appreciate you taking time to join me today. And I hope that something I shared made sense and that you're able to implement it right away and that you avoid change fatigue on your journey to your AI implementation. All right. Do we have any questions or even some aha moments? Thank you, everyone. I'm glad you found it useful. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, VF. Thank you, Barry. Oh, so your aha is AI has a back end we can utilize. Yes, it does. And reach out to me and I can give you more information on that. So if you raise your hand, Dadrian will unmute you and then you can ask your question.
Go ahead and unmute VF.
Hi, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Valerie, and I want to say thank you so much. I am one of those ones. Should I put myself in a bucket now? In the overwhelm bucket.
Yeah.
So everything you said just really resonated in terms of trying to sort things out, trying to
Awesome.
automate, and trying to co-create, making a collaboration between human and AI.
Yes.
Um, it's just really been amazing. Thank you so much. I'm not dreading it anymore. And then one major thing that stuck out was, which is what I tend to do, is everything is like a shiny new toy. So instead of me to look for the AI factor inside what I'm using, I'm thinking, oh God, here comes another one. Well, how do I learn this one now? And so on and so forth. So this is definitely, providing so much crystal clear clarity, no pun intended.
Awesome. Hey, that's the name of my company, Crystal Clear Solutions. So yeah, I take the pun.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Michelle Runge, you're up next.
Okay, Crystal, I want to say thank you for this presentation. It was fantastic. And as somebody who, handles change agents, and you probably are getting into uh, some things where some people at the company are being resistant, you have the most calm, encouraging voice. It's
Thank
perfect
you.
for what you're doing. But this presentation has been great. I tend to overthink and complicate things in my head. And as an AI consultant, that can go into too many rabbit holes. I have a meeting with a new client, a potential new client next week, and it's coming to me through a third party. So I don't have a whole lot of information. I know that they had a failed AI implementation. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it entailed, but I've been putting together like, what's my how will I go about that? And your crystal clear presentation today has helped me just kind of back down to the basics. So it was perfect timing for me, really great reminders, such a clear strategy. And I have no doubt you're very successful in what you do. And I wanted to just say thank you for sharing today.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for sharing that information and good luck as you work with your new client.
Thank you.
Hey, Morgan, you're up next. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Morgan.
Hi, it's Stephanie Morgan. Just a quick question. How do you decide on all the different platforms that we have available to us? How do you decide on which one to use? Every week there's more and more coming out. I mean, I understand Perplexity, Gemini, there's Notebook LM. I mean, there's just so many in Chat GPT actually. So how do you understand? How do you kind of because some of them are you have to invest. So how do you decide which one's best?
That's a very great question. And it's one I hear all the time, as well as one that I struggle with. So ChatGPT really is my go-to. I have found that no matter what other platforms I use, I really love the way that it's constantly evolving. And so I have a lot of fun with ChatGPT. But as far as business, one of the things that I encourage people to do is if you're a Google person, so if you like Google Sheets, Google Docs, things like that, explore Gemini. Let that be your go-to. If you're more of a Office, so Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoints, all those things, explore Copilot. And because those things integrate with the products that you use every day. So if you're a Google person, you can create your documents, your Google Docs, you can manage and analyze your sheets and things like that. And it minimizes pulling things out of one tool and placing them into another. So again, start with where you are. And then if you want to delve deeper, you can definitely put it into another platform, but try to stick with one that you're most comfortable with and get familiar. And then you'll find the things in it that you need that it may not be quite doing as well. And then you can find another tool for that particular thing. But if you narrow it down and just kind of stick with one thing and use it as best you can for everything, and the things that it doesn't give you the kind of output that you're looking for, then you find a tool for that thing. Does that help?
Yeah, very much. I agree with you on that because I like some components of chat. I like some components of Gemini, and just started using Perplexity because I do agree with you. The whole concept of referencing is better with the
Yes.
Perplexity. So just trying to figure out how to integrate all these different things, and just really appreciate your talk, and I definitely will sign up for the master class. So really appreciate this, and again, agree with the calmness, and so that's my aha moment, that we don't have to be so manic about it. So thank
Right.
you. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much. Thank you for joining.
Anna Marie, the floor is yours.
Hi, I agree with all the previous speakers. The voice, the content. I was trying to find you on LinkedIn, and there's so many who have your beautiful name. Which one are you?
Absolutely. I'll put the link in because yes, there are lots of Crystal Johnsons. One second. I've been tempted to use my maiden name just to kind of help me stand out because there's not a lot of those. But anyway, did you have a question while I'm pulling that up?
No, I didn't have a question. Just that's my question. Maybe you
Oh,
could put
okay.
something after your name, you know?
Yeah, I do have MBA,
Oh, well,
Crystal
maybe you
Johnson
put Crystal Johnson
MBA,
MBA. I'll check that one.
but I'll go ahead and add the link really quickly. That'll be helpful. There we go. Dadrian, what about Mibly is asking to have a word?
Okay, let me pull up maybe. 1 second. Go ahead and unmute your mic, maybe. Floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the conversation here, and I think I've learned a lot as a new person in the AI. I've been working as a AI trainer for chatbot, yeah, and a very interesting field. So the conversation has really helped me see the how we can use it more and more, and especially with the how the world is moving to AI. Yeah, so thank you very much, and looking up to uh, the next meeting. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks for joining today.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you. Maybe any other questions?
Executives are the tools you advise for project managers. Okay, so there's a question that says, I see you love to train executives. What are the tools you advise for project managers? I do things case by case because it entails a lot more. It's a lot deeper than just slapping a generic tool on anything. So I'm happy to meet with you. And if there's some specific needs, I can definitely help you identify the best tool to use, but there's not really a one size fits all. And so I'm as a consultant in this space, I'm very careful at just suggesting something without having a little more information so that I'm able to help my clients. Okay, thank you, Tanita. I am excited to do TED Talks. And if you know of anyone that's looking for a podcast guest or anybody else that is having needing some training, I can do that for you all as well. So I hope that you all reach out to me. I'm happy to share.
Can you bring up the page with your QR code again, please, Crystal?
Absolutely. Okay. And my computer is acting very weird again. One moment. I hope it doesn't kick me out. Okay, here we go. Everybody see it? I'll make it big. Oh, come back. There we go.
Perfect. Last chance, grab the QR code from Crystal, and the link is also in the chat. So Evelyn, the replay will be sent via email within 24 to 48 hours.
Awesome. Thank you, Dadrian, and thank you, Learning Tubers. I've really enjoyed my hour with you all. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I like to call this Friday Eve. Have a great Friday Eve, and I'll see you sometime.
Great. Thank you so much, Crystal. Awesome presentation. We thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Sounds good. Bye-bye. You're welcome, Morgan, Tanita, Barry, Kwanda, Teresa, Carla. You all are very welcome. Thank you so much.